I'm going to introduce the panel here. Sheriff David Lane, we have Commander Jeff Biggs, Prosecutor Brian Gensel, Chief Deputy Prosecutor Matt Frost, Deputy Prosecutor Cheryl Polaric, and then Mr. and Mrs. Bach. Each one's going to make a statement, and then if you could hold your questions until the very end. Thank you. Sheriff?
Thank you, Sergeant. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the media, for coming. This has been an arduous 17 months, and I'm just going to have a few opening comments. First and foremost, it's imperative that I thank the Bach family most of all. They have endured just unimaginable sorrow and tragedy, but I think you have seen through the course of this investigation and trial that they've displayed incredible faith and courage. And I think if I want to take anything from this horrific experience, is that love endures. Someone took Amanda from them, but that doesn't stop the love. That love is still there. And that's the driving force behind what you see here today. That's what kept the focus of the investigators. I want to thank Captain Jeff Biggs, the lead investigator. He put together a tremendous team. They stayed focused. They worked tirelessly, and unfortunately, just because of the vastness of this investigation, I'm not going to try and name everybody involved. I do want to give him credit because this is his case most of all. But the rest of the officers on the Sheriff's Department and jail officers, incredible dedication, consummate professionalism. And I want to thank the many citizens that had the humanity to not only help with the recovery of Amanda, but to all of those who provided tips through the months and years, and especially to those who had the courage to come forth and be an integral part of the trial and testify because they knew it was the right thing to do, even when incredibly some were even labeled as suspects by the defense. And certainly to the 12 citizens who epitomized civic duty and endured weeks of horrific photographs, testimonies, descriptions, but coalesced to make a very difficult decision. And we know this is something that none of them wanted to do, but thank God we do have people that are willing to do this. And most of all, I think we want to stay away from thinking of this in terms of a sports competition. I really don't think that we can talk about winning and losing. This wasn't a sporting event. This simply was justice. And with that, I'd like to introduce Commander Jeff Biggs.
Thanks, Sheriff. This has been a long process for our department. A lot of guys put a lot of time and effort into it. A lot of other agencies that have helped out in this case. Lake County Sheriff's Department, the Indiana State Police, the Valparaiso Police Department, the FBI. I know I'm probably going to forget some, but there was just a lot of people that were involved in this case. So I want to give thanks to them. Wouldn't have been possible, if we didn't have the help of others to do this. This was a large-scale investigation, the largest one for myself and my team to deal with. We reached out for help in anywhere we could get it. We worked, as hard as we could, and that our efforts, I think, knowing that it was a circumstantial, evidential case, that is why nothing came easy. We had to fight for everything we had. I'm thankful for the Bachs to have the patience for the investigation to go on. What other people's roles were, such as his.
So you're thinking there's people beyond Elliot that could be...
Was to bring justice to Amanda Bach. And you know, when you look into her family and looking to see, you know, what they're about, they're everyday people like we are.
Some of the accusations that the defense made about people who were not fingerprinted, things like that, do you care to respond to any of that?
Just like I had testified to, you know, all the people who we interviewed, you know, you have to be smart and be realistic and use some common sense during our investigation. You know, we didn't collect everybody's fingerprints, we didn't collect everybody's DNA because there was no reason to. Because we did check into their alibis. Their alibis did check out. You know, you know, the only person's alibi that didn't check out was Dustin McCowan's. That was the only one. And you know, I think that the cell phone evidence that came forward, you know, indicates that, you know, what we've said before in law enforcement is if you can't get a confession from a suspect, you know, which is good, the next best thing is a known lie. His known lies of saying where he was, and we've proven that he wasn't, you know, where he was at during that time period, I think is, you know, holds a lot of weight to it. Anything else?
And there will be certainly time afterwards, after everyone has a chance to speak. So,
next, I'd like to introduce Porter County Prosecutor Brian Ginsel.
Pulled all-nighters during the course of this trial, doing research and preparing court memorandum to refute some of what I would contend were spurious issues that were brought by the defense. There were others in the staff who were involved in, you know, making it so that the pictures that the media was able to observe, the pictures that we were able to use into evidence, organize those. There were some technical logistics that had to be taken care of, and that was something that was important, and I thought it was particularly effective in this case. I am heartened at the effort of my staff, and I can tell you that clearly we refer to ourselves as Team Justice, and our office was 16 attorneys. Many of them had roles in this, and the partnership that we were able to have with the Sheriff's Department and the other agencies it enables us to do the quality of work that I believe that we were able to execute in this matter. At this time, I would ask that Bach come up to the podium and make some comments, and I'm sure that we'll be able to get some questions.
Just want to say that this is a bittersweet victory. Though justice has been served, there really are no winners here. It will never bring our beautiful Amanda back. Amanda did not deserve to die at the hands of a sick, jealous coward. She had so much more to share and give up her life, but a coward cut it short. Now we are left with families destroyed by the acts of Dustin McCowan. And I believe the only truth spoken by defense attorneys John Boga and Nick Barnes was that it would take a sociopath to commit this crime. That would be Dustin McCowan. Thank you to Detective Commander Jeff Biggs and his team for their persistent pursuit of the truth. And thank you to prosecuting attorneys Matt Frost and Cheryl Polaric for their diligent and tireless work. And through their combined, painstaking efforts, the truth of the horrific events that our daughter Amanda had to suffer have come to light. We are grateful to the jurors for seeing through the lies and recognizing a guilty man. And thank you to all supporters and our family for all their kindness and generosity. And thank you to Porter County.
I'd just like to say from day one, all the searchers that came out, people we did not know, family and friends that stood through us and through this whole entire event. Just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It really showed what real people, real kindness, real generosity throughout this entire event. has made us stronger. Everyone up here in Porter County, thank you very much for all the diligent, tireless work. But a special thank you to Jeff Biggs, who, without him keeping us up to speed, informed, and knowing that we needed to know what was going on with this investigation throughout, helped us get us to where we are right now. Kept us strong and focused. And Dave Berkey for spiritually keeping us focused and what we do. And like I said, everyone involved in this that helped us get to the goal we were seeking. Thank you.
If anybody has any questions, we'll get those up to the podium since we're going to have to get up here by the microphone. Anybody have any questions for anybody on the panel?
Looking for the prosecution, what was the key evidence that you think turned the juror's mind? Yeah, please do.
Okay. But the question is, what was the key evidence in the case? And I think that's an unanswerable question in a case like this. This was largely a circumstantial case, which I like to analyze it as each piece of evidence is a small arrow that pointed at the guilt of Dustin McCowan. And there were hundreds and hundreds of small arrows. And then, of course, there was testimony about his comments that he made in jail, which might have been slightly larger arrows. So there wasn't, I think, one key piece of evidence or one tipping point in the trial. It was the strategy of our prosecution was that each day we're going to make the brick wall taller, and we're going to fence them in each day more completely. And I think that's what we did over the 3.5 to 4 weeks that we were there.
So, Matt, there was nothing, to follow up on what Jeff was saying, there is, of all the people they were pointing to, raising doubt about others, there's nobody else you guys are looking into involved with this death?
No.
With the conviction of Dustin now? Nobody else playing any role? No other female, explain the female voice that was heard, anything along these lines?
The only reasonable inference about what the female voice was is that was the voice of Amanda Bach. The person who was responsible for her death was convicted or was found guilty last night by a jury of his peers. So, no, the issues that Commander Biggs were talking about were issues with regard to aiding after the fact and things like that. So, no, there's no ongoing investigation like that you suggest.
Is there anything your office is doing in that aiding issue involving Elliot? Do you guys play any role in that, or is that up to police at this point?
Well, what we usually do when the police have an investigation, we'll give them legal advice and tell them what the elements of a particular crime are. But I'm not going to go into any details about any conversation we've had.
Is there any one specific person or many people that you're looking at as aiding after the fact?
You'll have to ask Commander Biggs that.
Were you surprised at all by the deliberation time?
No. One of the things I said to the family of Amanda right after we finished, I said, don't worry if it's 7 minutes and don't worry if it's 12 hours. You can't tell what's going to happen by the deliberation time. I heard some reports that it was 6.5 hours. Others discounted a fairly substantial dinner break and said it was a 3.5-hour deliberation. But I don't think you can read anything into the length of time that a group of people talk about a serious felony murder case.
Jim, just to answer the question, and I thought maybe I answered it with Bob earlier, is the only one that we will continue to look into and look a little further into is whether or not Elliot McCowan did in fact aid in getting rid of evidence in this case.
There's also, I understand, there was an incident last night with one of the McCowan supporters yelling from a car. Was there arrest made?
No. No.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on what you see as potential covering up of this by Elliot? Anything outside that was testified to during the week, or 3 weeks?
Nothing I would comment other than what was testified, during the last weeks.
Do you know if he's on active duty still there?
I don't
In
know.
Crown Point? You don't know that?
Anything else for Commander Biggs? Good. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up if nobody has any other questions.
Mr. and Mrs. Bach, can we ask you some more questions? Did you just want to make a statement? I know that this has been a very long process for you guys. Can you talk about the emotion from the beginning and where you're at today throughout this whole time period?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really know where I'm at right now today. It really hasn't totally sunk in. We've just been so focused on the outcome and just trying to help wherever we can. And emotionally, it really hasn't hit yet. Sorry, we can't answer that.
And I just say that our lives have totally changed. This is a new life I'm living. It's not the same without Amanda.
Where did you get your strength?
In knowing that we had to get to the bottom of this, get Dustin McCowan found guilty for murdering our daughter, and because we have to, we can't just curl up in a ball, and we have to go on. We have to live our lives. We have another daughter, and she deserves better than that.
I'd say through my faith and through Amanda. Amanda needed some justice, and this really isn't justice for her, but it's a small piece of satisfaction to know that this guy will not be out there murdering anyone else. Sorry, my daughter had to die at his hands. That's what happened.
Yeah, I feel that his young girl supporters and best friends, they owe their life to Amanda, because if it wasn't her, it might have been them or someone else, because that's just the type of person he is.
What do you want viewers at home tonight watching to know about your daughter if they've never met her before?
She lit up our world. And when Amanda came home, you knew she came home. She just lit up the room. She made us smile. She was our shining star. She was just so vibrant and full of life. And by hearing that from all of her friends, and we didn't realize the lives she touched. We didn't realize how large it was.
And she's brought together so many people that might not otherwise have known each other, and they've become friends, and friends for life. People we didn't know before, now we do.
Have you guys thought about doing anything a step beyond this now, a memoriam of some sort, some type of fund, any talk along those lines? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we'd like to set up some sort of scholarship fund, probably either Portage High School, and I don't know what else.
We're looking into some other options too, as far as donation.
Thank you very much.